Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at these projector headlights with the gloss black housing and clear lenses available for all 2014 and 2015 Silverado 1500s. You should be checking out these options that we're talking about today if you're a big fan of the factory projector headlights found on the higher trim level early third gens and would like to add some of that similar styling to your truck, really cleaning up the front end appearance at the same time. So the big feature here, in my opinion, is the fact that you're replacing your nearly decade-old headlights that might be a bit faded or damaged by now with a brand new factory-inspired set that will really help clean up the look of that front end and improve your nighttime visibility as well. Now that's gonna happen because you are including, at this point with this new set of headlights, a low beam projector that is gonna be, again, more factory inspired. I say that because if you look at trucks like the High Country for this particular year range, you'll find that the styling of the headlights shown here compared to those High Country or higher trim level packages are going to be very similar overall. And the big similarity is that low beam projector found up top here, which will produce a brighter, more focused beam of light at night, which in turn will increase the overall throw. And I would say, aside from the coolness or the cool factor that this helps contribute, the functionality of the projector in place of a low beam reflector is really a big feature here with this particular setup. But this is a great time to get into the construction of the projectors here, and as I've mentioned a few times now throughout this video, these will be a spitting image of those factory projector headlights found on the 14 and 15 Silverados. Now you're looking at things like the chrome trim here, both top and bottom, to the black housings, and even the dual amber reflectors for the turn signals on the side here. And again, we do have that stacked low beam projector up top, high beam reflector found here on the bottom. Now the lenses will feature an impact resistant polycarbonate material. They will be crystal clear and thus getting that DOT and SAE stamp of approval. Finally guys, the headlights do not include any brand new bulbs, so you will need to address those prior to the install. I do want to point out that because you are switching to that projector for the low beam, you will need to switch out your bulb altogether. You will need to update their bulb or your bulb to an H1 for the low beam. You can reuse your existing high beam bulb, your H11 if you'd like, or you can always use this as an opportunity to possibly upgrade to something brighter, maybe like an LED. But that is up to you, but just note again, these do not include any bulbs. Price point for the projectors here will eclipse that $500 mark, making these one of the more expensive OE styled options currently on the site. However, in my opinion, they are one of the most accurate representations of the factory higher trim projector headlights. Now, if you did want to achieve a similar layout of maybe a projector up top, standard high beam down low, well, you can find some other options here on the site for a bit less overall, but again, in my opinion, those don't really hold true to the factory styling that these deliver. All right guys, last but not least, let's get into the install here. And the site's gonna call this one a pretty strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you at least 30 minutes, probably a little bit more to complete from start to finish. Now, the nice thing about the simplicity of a set of OE inspired lights such as this is that they will not require any additional wiring or modification. But now to give you a better idea of just how things will go down on your truck at home, let's check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, Phillips head screwdriver, 10mm ratcheting wrench, an extension, a 10mm socket, and some microfiber towels. What's up guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Silverado. First we're going to watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove the factory headlights, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
All right, first step here, we have to uninstall our factory headlights. To do that, pop your hood. We're going to remove the radiator shroud. Now there's a bunch of these plastic black push pin clips here. What you're gonna do is take a panel removal tool. I'm gonna start with this guy here. You're just gonna pry up on the middle section. Once that's up, you don't necessarily need to take it off in 2 pieces, but once that's up, you can pull it off all together just like that. Do that for each one along the entire shroud. Now that all those clips are off, let's just lift up on the shroud and set it aside. Next up, we have to head over to the wheel well to remove this one Phillips head screw. Now the reason we're doing that is because this entire trim piece that goes along all underneath the headlights and grille has to come off. So grab a Phillips head, we're just gonna take this one screw off in each wheel well. So once you have one taken care of, repeat on the other side. And once that's off, you can start cracking that guy loose. All right, next step here, just pull that trim piece all the way off and set it aside. All right, next up, let's get our grille out of the way. Now there's 4 10mm bolts at the top, so I'm switching over to an impact gun and a deep socket, so let's get those off. All right, now on the bottom left and bottom right corners, you're gonna find another 10mm. For the grille, I'm switching over to an extension on my 10 mil. All right, same thing on the other side. All right, so now we can just pull the grille off in one piece. All right, next step, let's unbolt our headlight. Now I'm working on our passenger side here. There's 2 10mm bolts up top we're gonna start with. All right, next up, behind where our grille was here, there's one more bolt at the bottom down there. All right, we have one more down here in the corner, right behind where the trim was underneath the headlight. I'm gonna use a 10mm ratcheting wrench for this guy just because it's at a tough angle. All right, so now we can just pull that straight back. And you just pinch and disconnect the harness. Just like that, set your factory light aside.
Now before we install our new headlights, we're gonna have to swap our bulbs from our old headlight to our new one. So we're gonna twist to the left on all of our bulb sockets, pop our bulbs out, transfer them over, and then we'll twist to the right to lock them in place. For this one, we're gonna be pressing in on that tab to pop that out. This one we're gonna lift on that tab. And now we can do that same thing for our other headlight and get these on the truck. So now we can install our headlight. We've got one connector on the back side that will plug into our body harness, and then we'll slide this into place and reinstall those 4 bolts. Now we can reinstall our 2 bolts up top. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket to tighten these down. Next, we can reinstall the one on the inside of our headlight. Next, we can reinstall our bolt at the outer corner. And then we'll grab our 10mm ratcheting wrench to tighten this down. Now once we have our headlight installed on one side, we can do the same thing on the other side. Next, we can line up the tabs on our grille and reinstall that. Next, we can reinstall our 4 bolts at the top of our grille. And then we'll take our 10mm socket and tighten these down. Next, we can reinstall our 4 lower grille bolts. Now this is going to be pretty much impossible to see on camera, but everywhere that we have this little cutout, there's a U-clip recessed back in there. So I've got a 10mm socket on an extension to put these in by hand, and then once we have them threaded in, I'll throw my ratchet on the other side and tighten them down. And now I'll grab my ratchet and tighten these down. Next, we can line up all of our tabs and reinstall our lower trim. Next, we can come to our wheel well and reinstall that Phillips head screw with a Phillips head screwdriver. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall our upper radiator cover. We have these 2 tabs that are going into these 2 slots. And then we'll just lay it down. And now lastly, we can reinstall all of our push clips. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the projector headlights with gloss black housing and clear lens for your 2014 to 15 Silverado 1500. Thank you for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.